Welcome back to Saxy Rod Shop, to the Rod Shop channel. We're actually going to just give you a quick update on what's been going on with the 32 for a little bit. And we've been concentrating mostly on the front of the car at the moment, dealing with the radiator and all the modifications to that. So we've talked a little bit about the fan and the shroud, but you can see here now he's actually working more intense on the upper part of the radiator. And what we're doing is, instead of having just a round overflow tank, which is common, or just something else exposed, we're modifying the front of the top of the radiator and the shroud and combining the overflow tank to be part of the top of the assembly. And so he's got the upper hose outlet mocked up. He's got his tank assembly here mocked up. And what we're going to do is, we got this cute little filter neck with a little bitty nice pressurized cap. And I believe this is from, what does that say there? Radiator cap Mishimoto. I think it's who it came from. And so this will, he's made this recessed cavity similar to that. That's what's going in there. And this is going to end up being in there with a hidden, this overflow tube will actually end up being hidden, part of the radiator, and then the cap. So that's so we can get in there to it. We went to the small one. So that's kind of where we are currently. We also have the lower hose attached to the radiator now, and we've modified the shroud to fit all that. All that's blended in. So that's kind of where we are at the moment, and we're actually doing some time lapse on this, so you'll see some of the work going on that. So one of the other few things that we've worked on a little bit while we were waiting on some parts is our modification of the trailing arms. Now this is an older Heights rear end assembly, independent, and we've changed the trailing arms here. We've actually added all this into here, relocated the angle of the strut arms. As you can see, some of the work that we did in here as we raised the fenders. And then this will still have the, we're actually going to be going to the HydroShock system on this car. So we haven't received those yet. Once those come in, then we'll be mocking up and building the mounts off of the lower arms also. So that's kind of what we've got going on at the moment. we're going to just give you a little bit of what's been going on with the 32, the update on the radiator. So today Brandon got the overflow tank. For the most part, it's fabricated. We still got some mounting bungs to weld into it and stuff like that. But we'll show you what we've got here. So this is the actual overflow tank for the radiator for the 32. And then you can see here the filler neck. It's not welded in yet, but this is how that's going to go. We will be removing this nipple here and going to a shorter AN style. And he's actually going to be building a hard line that will, let's set this back in here. We're just mocking it up. So the hard line will come in, come out, and come back into this fitting here. And then this hole here will be where we will have a hard line that'll come off and be the actual vent, come down to the bottom. And then as I showed you earlier, this will be the little radiator cap that'll go in here. So that's what we're actually after right now. So here it is, the end of the week. We're going to give you a little visual of how the overflow tank and the radiators come together that we've been working on for the 32. As you can see here, it's back on the car now. Brandon's got the tank all fit, welded up. He was working on the bungs for mounting it here. This one over here is going to be the vent outlet for the vent. So there will be a fitting that'll come out of here and a hard line that'll come down for the vent for the overflow. This is all welded on. We're going to just have a 90 that'll come off, two 90s basically. That's going to, with a short piece of hose on there. And then you can see the detail here. We'll bring the camera in close. And our cute little radiator cap. It's just tight because it's all new. Reaches down, gives you plenty of enough room to reach down in there to put that all on. And all that. And then the lower hoses are on the opposite side over here to go with the Ford engine. Put all that in there where we needed. So we haven't decided if this will end up being polished or painted to go with the engine compartment and all that, but that's kind of where we are. That's how it's turned out. That's what you've been following along with this this past week. And then it looks like our next step is we're getting ready to start on the exhaust system. And he's got some flanges set out here, and he's making him a weld fixture. And this will all be done in stainless steel all the way out with oval pipe to the rear and come through that rear roll pan that we've got going on. So that's kind of where we're finishing up this week on the 32. Customers coming out next week. We're going to talk about some stuff on the dash and the next step after the exhaust is done, and then we'll continue on. So we want to thank you for supporting our channel, following us, and for those of you that are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll get all of our notifications as they come out. Thank you, and y'all have a good weekend.